What up, world? This is DJ Complex, and this is episode 2 of Ask the DJ. And tonight I'm with Jukebox Hero DJ Forge. How you doing?
What's going on, man? Doing great. How are you?
Great. It's nice to meet you. I actually been a fan since I saw you at a Black Moon concert at the Cat's Cradle. That was the first time I ever.
A long time ago.
Yeah, that was like a long time ago. Like, I think it was 03 or 04. Yeah. And at that point, I didn't know that type of venue played. Well, I didn't know that there were any type of venues like that in North Carolina that kind of held those things. And from that point, I became like a very big fan of like the Cat's Cradle and like the events and things that they had, especially the shows and stuff that they had. But yeah, that definitely opened my eyes to like the culture. Before that, I was just like a little kid at home. The music that I listened to, a lot of my friends they didn't really listen to it. That was one of the places that I felt like, wow, there's a lot of people that like me.
Definitely lives at Cat's Cradle. I feel like a lot of people probably feel the same way you do about just being exposed to like a whole different crowd and just getting exposed to the music that you didn't know you loved at the time, but you grew to love. You know what I mean? I feel that way about the Cradle.
Okay. And you actually have a monthly event that goes on there?
Yeah, I do First Fridays. It's a hip hop showcase. Just booking currently acts here in North Carolina. Just 2 or 3 acts. Just trying to get something going because they have a new venue in the back.
Okay.
It's a really good space for smaller shows. So
okay.
Yeah, it's trying to get like a cultural movement going.
Okay, cool. I like that. We're gonna jump right into it. What we usually do with this show, what I'm trying to do with this show is, the DJing culture is becoming more popular as of recently. I know that you noticed that, but there's a lot of people that are jump in the game. They just like the fame, or they might like the quick money, or whatever it is that comes along with it. It may not be authentic. What we intend to do with this show is kind of just like help out those people who really want to do it, who have just like simple questions and things like that, and they really don't know where to turn to or where to go. And I want to start by asking someone like you. Now, you've been a Red Bull champion.
Yep.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that was twice, right?
Yeah.
All right. So how was that experience in relation to everything else you've done as a DJ?
Well, the Red Bull freestyle battle is a little bit different. It's not so much like me showcasing my ability to rock a party or showcasing my ability to put together a hip hop set, but it's more of a battle. It's not a traditional scratch battle, but it's a battle based on party rocking. So it definitely opened my eyes to different ways to rock parties and exposed me to a lot of different music through the other DJs that were competing. And I don't know, it just definitely didn't hurt my career.
Okay. All right. That opportunity that it provided you, what did you gain from that opportunity? From like just not even just like participating, but like winning and preparing and everything. How did that? What did you come away with?
Just me personally, I came away with I guess a little bit more confidence in myself, and that's something I've struggled with as a DJ. Is just like learning to believe in myself sometimes, and that just kind of gave me a little boost, I guess, more or less. Just gave me the ability to believe in my skill, and it gave me a little bit of notoriety. People started paying attention to me and to the crew also. So I mean, just a lot of eyes,
And you've had, like I said, I first saw you at the Cat's Cradle, and that was for a Black Moon show.
Yeah.
Now you've opened up for people like Black Moon, Ghostface, countless people that are like that, onto like bigger names like Jay-Z.
Yep.
Now that was major.
Yeah.
Like, how was that opening up for Jay-Z?
I mean, it was incredible, man. No other way to put it. Just being in a Coliseum and DJing for thousands of people is just not something that you come about, or not something that comes about every day. So it's definitely, I mean, more or less once in a lifetime kind of experience. And all those other shows like Black Moon and Ghostface kind of prepped me for that. So I was nervous, but I felt comfortable.
Now, how did you get your start opening up for shows and doing things of that nature, as opposed to just like regular DJing, like where we were tonight? Like we're at Top of the Hill in Chapel Hill. how did you? Well, how do you make the transitions in? Well, first I want to ask, how did you get into it?
Okay, I started DJing when I was in college, and it was just kind of a hobby. I was just in my dorm room scratching, you know, playing around, and eventually I got a college radio show, and I was playing just strictly underground hip hop music. This was still in the vinyl days, so you know, I would go to the record shop every week, get some records, I would play what was sent to me at the radio station, and just from doing that, people started to book me for local hip hop shows, and then from there on to the Cradle.
All right, now, what goes into preparing for a Cat's Cradle party and a party like Top of the Hill?
I would say prepping for Cat's Cradle is relatively straightforward. Like I know that everybody there is going to be a discerning hip hop head, so I know I can play album cuts and get away with it, or you know, like classic underground music, and you know, upcoming new people like Schoolboy and Kendrick, and people will know about it. Versus, you know, rocking a club party, or at least the one like we're at tonight, is all about mainstream music. So prepping for that is, you know, I just kind of try and run the gamut of, you know, what's popular in multiple genres of music, whether it's hip hop, dancehall, Latin, house, you know, some top 40, just like knowing what's hot and what works in all those genres, you know.
Okay. All right. I was going to try to leave this question towards the end, but you kind of hinted towards it a little bit earlier. If you had one weakness as a DJ, what would that be?
I would still say it's I think it's confidence, man. Sometimes I just don't feel like I can get away with some stuff, and I probably should just take the risk. But I you know, sometimes I play it safe when I shouldn't. Okay. I feel like a lot of people probably like that too. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say is one of your strengths as a DJ?
I would say my ability to read the crowd is pretty good. And that's key for when you're doing a party, like an open format party. You have to know when it's time to switch the energy up or switch the genre up. I would say I'm pretty strong at reading the dance floor, reading the crowd, and knowing when it's time to keep it moving.
Okay. Now, you've done some touring also with as a DJ for hip hop artists, right?
Yep.
Can you give us some more information on that?
So Superstition, who went by the name Cam Moy for a couple years, but is still currently known as Superstition. You know, we went on tour. We've been on tour in the U.S. as well as Canada, and then internationally, I've gone with him to Germany, to Sweden, and to Australia.
Okay, that's cool. Now, what goes into prepping for a DJ like, well, a job like that or a gig like that where you're actually the backup or accompanying DJ for a performer?
So prepping for that is first and foremost, you actually have to really know the songs that he's performing. So, you know, and that's how I met him, because I was a fan of his music. And then, you know, we became friends and eventually, you know, toured together. But, you know, prepping for that is, one, just knowing the songs inside and out, and two, just knowing when to back him up on the microphone and when not to, you know, when to help get the crowd hyped between songs and stuff like that.
Okay. How important do you think mic skills are towards for a DJ?
I think they're super important, especially if you're rocking a hip-hop party. I mean, a microphone is very necessary. When you're doing a party like tonight, it's really almost detracts in some ways from the party. But you know, if I'm rocking an all hip hop set, then you know, you have to be on the mic. And I mean, a lot of people that are really good at playing hip hop are really good on the mic too, and that just works as like a cohesive thing to make a really good party. You know.
Okay. Now here's a question: holding down residencies, how do you stay fresh, and how do you keep from like getting in the routine of playing like the same things over and over like every week?
I mean, that's a definite challenge when you're playing to the same place every week, which is why me and the guys, we try not to do the same thing every week. But you know, it's just about keeping your music collection fresh and trying to come up with new ideas as much as possible, you know. You're always gonna have like your go-to tricks or your go-to sets, but you know, trying to not repeat them in the places that you played at recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, recently you started like a DJ page where it's pretty much like a tech page. How is that important to DJing?
I mean, it's a critical part of DJing at this point. You know, we all rely on computers, and you know, some people rely on controllers. And, you know, you have to be on top of that stuff and know what you're doing, making sure your laptop's in order, and you know, make sure the software is running properly. And, you know, and as far as the non-actual DJing part, you know, it's important to use technology to your advantage for marketing too.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's a critical part of DJing right now.
Now, due to technical difficulties beyond our control, we had to conclude the interview. But I assure you this will not be the last time we talk with DJ Forwards. We'd like to thank him for taking his time out and chopping it up with us here at Ask the DJ. And if he's ever in your town, or if you ever see his name on a flyer or the marquee, go check him out and tell him Complex sent you. Now, all of his information is on the tail end of the video, so make sure you stop on over, add him on Twitter, check him and his crew out, the Jukebox Heroes. And as always, thank y'all for tuning in. I'm DJ Complex. We out.